Hello and welcome. My name is Heather Indu Arena, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about the importance of breath. Breath is something we do every single day, automatically and spontaneously, meaning we don't have to think about it, and it sustains our very life and livelihood. Just consider what would happen if we actually started to put some conscious thinking into how we breathed, and we used the breath in such a way to restore balance physically, mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually, if that's what you want to use it for. So that's what we'll be exploring today in our PowerPoint presentation. Here we go. So our topic is the importance of breath and discovering breathing patterns. And again, my name is Heather Indu Arena, and my website is healingelementsforyou.com. And if you consider, we can live for weeks without food, a few days without water, a few hours without heat, but only a couple of minutes without air. Breath means life, breath means energy, and breath means vitality. Breath is integral to us, yet we seldom consider it. So in this video, we're going to be exploring the importance of breath, how to detect when we're not breathing properly, and then we're going to do an experience in order to see the power of breathing consciously and deliberately. So here's some interesting facts about the breath. The average person breathes 5,000 gallons of air a day. In weight, this is about 35 times as much as we take in from food or water. 70% of the toxins that we take in are eliminated during the breathing process. And 90% of the nutrition needed by the body comes from the oxygen we breathe. 90%. Without sufficient oxygen, we would not receive sufficient nutrition from our food. And without our breath, we couldn't speak. So breath is incredibly important. So let's look at how we actually breathe. Breathing is a reflex, which means we do not have to think in order to breathe. The body does it automatically without our conscious thought. So on the inhalation, our diaphragm flattens, which expands the chest cavity, and this results in air being drawn into the body. On the exhalation, the diaphragm relaxes, so the lungs naturally expand and air is effortlessly pushed out. So that's the natural breathing process. But let's look a little bit deeper as well. So we start out when we breathe in by taking in air through the nose and through the mouth. The air then travels down the throat into the windpipe, which is divided into bronchial tubes. The bronchial tubes pass through the lungs, which divide into bronchioles. And then the bronchioles end in air sacs that are called alveoli. Small, teeny tiny little alveoli, of which the body has about 600 million of them. The alveoli are then surrounded by capillaries, where the oxygen from the inhaled air is passed into your blood. The oxygenated blood then goes to the heart, which pumps it through the tissues and organs of the entire body. As the cells of the body use the oxygen, they then make carbon dioxide, which goes into the blood. The blood then carries the carbon dioxide back to the lungs, where it is removed from the body as you exhale. And you can see that this process is happening over and over and over again, automatically, without you having to think about it. So the breath is integral in the body's function. And again, we don't have to think to breathe. It's amazing. Breath is actually the bridge between the body and the mind. It's the bridge between the body and the mind. And what science has shown us, and actually Eastern ancient sciences going back thousands of years have been saying, is that there's a specific breathing pattern for every physical, mental, emotional, or contemplative state. So each physical, mental, emotional, and contemplative state is associated with a specific breathing pattern. So what that means for us is that if we want to shift or change our physical, mental, or emotional, or contemplative state, all we need to do is shift our breath. The breath is the bridge between the body and the mind. We change our breath in the body, we can shift how we think and the emotions that we're having. So we can shift from anger into calmness, from sadness into peace, just through the use of our breath. So one thing that's interesting to begin to explore and notice is next time that you feel either happy or sad, perhaps angry, afraid, calm, or centered, notice how you're breathing at those times. Because the more that you notice it, the more that you can use the breath to shift how you're feeling. So if you notice the breathing pattern that's associated with feeling happy, calm, and centered, and you notice that you're angry or sad, you can use those breath techniques, those breathing patterns, to help shift how you're feeling. So we're going to go through some breathing patterns, and most of the breathing patterns we go through are going to be what are considered improper breathing patterns. But first we're going to start out with a proper breathing pattern, and that's diaphragmatic breathing. When we're breathing in this way, the diaphragm is fully engaged and then released with each breath cycle. So what this does is it uses your full lung capacity, which helps you then to receive optimal benefits from each and every single breath. And so this type of breathing promotes relaxation and acts as a mood stabilizer. It lowers the heart rate and blood pressure. It strengthens the diaphragm and the core of the body. It increases oxygen into the body. It helps to release muscular tension, and it increases our energy. And this is the breathing technique that we were all born with. This is the style of breathing we were all born with, but that gets distorted through time. And how it gets distorted could be as simple as we were infants. We cried because we were hungry, but mom changed our diaper, and we didn't have words to explain what we needed, and it facilitated stress. And in that stress, we start holding our breath, or clenching our chest, or clenching our abdomen, and then we start to breathe improperly. And then what happens is, every time we get stressed out, we go into that improper breathing pattern, and then the body starts to remember that improper breathing pattern. And then instead of breathing in the way that we were born to breathe, this diaphragmatic breathing, we start to breathe improperly. And then what happens is we continue to breathe in this way because the body remembers it now, muscle memory, and it starts to bring forth and facilitate that same felt sense of stress that occurred when we originated with this improper breathing technique. So what I'm going to go through is the different improper breathing techniques, how to notice if you're breathing in that way, and perhaps what caused it and what its effects are. So we'll start out with reverse breathing, because in Western culture, a lot of us are reverse breathers. So what that looks like in the body is that the abdomen moves in on the inhale and out on the exhale, which is just the opposite of what it should do. If you're breathing correctly, the abdomen expands on the inhale and contracts on the exhale. However, in reverse breathing, it's just the opposite. So you can feel that out for yourself if that's happening. Also, the upper chest may fill before the lower on the inhale. If we're breathing properly, the lower part of the body, the diaphragm area, should begin to expand first and then fill upwards through the lungs. It also could look like the abdomen not relaxing. So what causes reverse breathing? Well, one cause could be pushing down the emotions instead of feeling them. So you don't want to feel something and you push it down as opposed to allowing yourself to feeling it. Perhaps holding back on your verbal expression. This could cause reverse breathing. Or compensations in advanced lung disease. Now, the effects of reverse breathing can be depression, low energy, rationalizing what's happening instead of feeling what's happening, as well as chronic tension in the upper body. Our next breathing pattern is confused breathing. And what this looks like is that the breathing is uncoordinated and inconsistent, and often unable to tell when you're breathing in or breathing out because it's so inconsistent. What may cause confused breathing is mood swings, so the emotions rising up and down. Also, inconsistent support in childhood or lack of connection to the physical body. The effect of confused breathing may be difficulty coordinating movement, emotional and or mental confusion, as well as confusion in the muscles of respiration, which is why it looks confused. Also, there's chest breathers out there, and this one's really easy to feel out. What it looks like is the breathing takes place primarily high in the chest, and the upper body ends up being more braced because of this. The shoulders move up and down because the belly is held. So there's no expansion and contraction in the lower abdomen area, and instead in the chest only, and the shoulders rise up and lower down. There's some causes that can cause chest breathing, and those are chronic stress, startle reflex frozen in the body, or weight or body image issues. And the effects of chest breathing is chronic tension in the upper back, shoulders, and neck. Impaired digestion, elimination, and circulation, because we're not using those lower abdominal muscles. Heart disease, hypertension, nervousness and anxiety, as well as hyperventilation. So you can see that all of these improper breathing patterns have a specific look to them, may have any of the causes that I'm mentioning, and may also have any of the effects that I'm mentioning. Moving on to collapsed breathing. What this may look like is that the chest is drawn downward and the shoulders are forward. Also, the belly can drop forward and down. Shallow puffs of air that are centered primarily in the chest, as well as sighing and or gasping for air. And what causes collapsed breathing is possible abuse or trauma sometime in life. Depression may cause it, and it's the breathing pattern that's associated with being a victim in life. The effects of collapsed breathing are lack of muscle tone in the lower body, obesity, dissociation from the body, as well as perhaps lack of physical expression. Frozen breathing. What frozen breathing looks like is little movement on the outer surface of the body. It's as if the body appears to be frozen, and the breath is extremely shallow, and it doesn't actually look like the body's breathing. The shoulders are often drawn down. So some of the causes of frozen breathing: childhood physical or sexual abuse, PTSD, coping with overwhelming feelings and not having an ability to help to cope with those feelings. Also, fear of not being good enough or doing it wrong. And the effects of frozen breathing are inability to relax and let down, suppression of the breath, holding the breath. And also the effect is appearing smaller, as if trying to be invisible or unseen in the world. Split breathing. And what this looks like is belly breathing. So not taking full breaths. Typically the chest is static so that the breath doesn't move all the way from the abdomen up into the chest. And the shoulders may be drawn in and frozen. And what can cause split breathing is abuse or fear, wounding to the heart, and holding back emotions. And the effects can be perfectionism, inability to connect on an intimate heart level, prone to breathing difficulties such as asthma, and an inability to relax. Hyperventilation. Hyperventilation looks like rapid breathing regardless of activity. And breathing often takes place high up in the chest, and the upper body is often braced. Chronic stress, weight or body image issues, or rushing forward to try to complete things can cause hyperventilation, as opposed to being present and attentive in the moment. And the effects can be the blood flow is reduced to the extremities, which results in cold hands or feet, rapid pulse and heart palpitations, muscle tension, dizziness, and breathlessness. And finally, throat holding. And what this looks like is that the muscles of the throat are very tightened. So there's a visible chronic neck, jaw, and facial muscle tension. What can cause this is suppression of overwhelming emotion. So again, pushing those emotions down, not feeling them, and holding back tears. And how this can show up physically is vocal tension, resulting in panicked, hurried speech, as well as a higher pitched voice or a whispery childlike voice. And the fascinating thing about these different breathing patterns is you can use them as diagnostic tools in your own life. For example, I work with clients one-on-one in a therapeutic setting. I perform yoga therapy as well as integral breath therapy. And in order to get a feel for what's happening with my clients, I can actually watch their breathing, assess their breathing pattern, and perhaps know what's going on in their life. For example, I had one client, I noticed her breathing pattern, and I said, "Are you anxious a lot of the time for no reason?" And she looked at me and she's like, "Yes, how did you know?" And I said, "Because I can tell by how you're breathing." So what we can do if we have these improper breathing patterns is to retrain the breath. So it's helpful to know if and how you are breathing incorrectly so that you can catch yourself and adjust. And if you're part of my 12-week cleanse, I'll actually guide you through a breath scan to help you determine improper breathing patterns and provide you with support in retraining the breath to breathe properly. And you'll also get this PowerPoint presentation. So what we can do through retraining the breath is we learn to breathe with ease and feel physically, mentally, and emotionally more in balance. So again, we were born breathing correctly. Our body knows how to breathe properly. It was simply the stressors of life that facilitated us in holding the breath or changing our natural breathing pattern, so much so that the body began to take that on as its natural breathing pattern. We can learn to retrain the body to breathe correctly again, while simultaneously receiving the many benefits of proper breathing. And so the breathing technique that I teach to my clients was created by Carol Lampman. It's called the Conscious Connected Breathing. And what she says is that, Carol says, is that increasing your ability to breathe fully, you will make major improvements in your physical, mental, and emotional functions. And even if you're already breathing properly, you can even create more benefits through using specific breathing techniques like this. And so if you're interested in practicing this breathing technique, you can go onto my YouTube channel, and there's about a 12 to 13 minute video of me guiding this conscious connected breathing technique. And it looks exactly like the picture on your screen right now. It's called Restorative Breathing for the Body, Mind, and Soul. But some of the benefits of breathing in this way are boosting the immune system, expanding consciousness in order to understand the self. It helps to burn toxins from the bloodstream, as well as cleanse the tissues and remove toxins from the tissues. It supports the creation of new neural pathways in the brain. It helps to lower blood pressure and increase circulation. It reduces physical, mental, and emotional stress. Breathing in this way can decrease depression and anxiety by up to 70%. It provides greater relaxation and inner peace. It increases the life force energy and vitality on all levels. It helps to increase mental clarity and creativity, increases intimacy and relationships. It helps to improve digestion, and it enhances the libido. So doing this breathing technique for 20 minutes a day can greatly improve your life. And that's why I created this video. You can do it twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening, and begin to start to see the effects of this immediately in your life. So you can see, if you simply begin to retrain your body to breathe properly, you can restore the body, emotions, and mind back to balance. And even if you are breathing properly, you can use it to increase your vitality, your life force energy, and your peace in life. Because breath is our very life force. Breath means life. So when we breathe correctly, we nurture the body, mind, emotions, and soul. It's our very life force. If you are engaged in reactive thoughts or emotions in life, they just naturally start to happen in life. You're using your life force energy in an unbalanced way. And then what happens is the body converts this energy into physical blocks in the body. Without correction, these blocks can lead to disease. When you learn to breathe consciously, you shift the mind and the emotions to relaxation instead of stress. And this reinforces your ability to remain relaxed even when external circumstances are stressful. So this means you're cultivating your life force energy for peace instead of dis-ease on all levels. So again, learn to breathe more and more properly, that natural way of breathing. And you're going to reinforce your ability to respond to life in a peaceful way as opposed to a reactive way. And this is going to affect all aspects and all relationships in your life, not just with your own body and your own self, but with your loved ones, your social life, your work life, on all levels. So let's try just a really quick breathing exercise and see how breath can be a transformative power in your life. So right now, just simply sit up tall. It's easier to breathe fully if you're sitting nice and tall. You can also do this laying down if that feels more appropriate for you. And simply open up your mouth, and what I'm going to invite you to do is just take a deep breath in through the mouth, as full as you can, and then let it go through the mouth. And then do that again. Nice deep breath in through the mouth, and then let it go through the mouth. This time as you breathe in consciously and deliberately, breathe in through the nose fully. Draw the breath all the way down to the bottom of the lungs and fill the lungs completely from the bottom of the lungs up to the top, breathing in through the nose. Open up your mouth and then let it release. And do that again. Deep breath in, bringing in fresh energy, life force in through that inhale through the nose. Pause for a moment and then open up your mouth, and on the exhale, feel yourself releasing tension in the body. One more time on your own. Deep breath in. Draw the breath to the very bottom of the lungs. Fill the lungs completely from the bottom to the top. And then exhale and let go. And feel the release and the letting go. And then simply close the eyes. And just notice how already the body is a little bit more relaxed. We're going to do a couple more breaths just to take this a little bit deeper. So keeping the eyes closed, the body sitting tall, but at the same time completely relaxed. There should be no strain in the body. Just notice your breathing pattern. And very slowly, without struggle or strain, just increase the depth of each inhalation and the length of each exhalation. And begin to breathe in and out through the nose if that's accessible to you. So as you breathe in, you're going to draw the breath to the very bottom of the lungs. Fill the lungs completely from the bottom all the way up to the top, as if you're filling a bottle of water. And as you exhale, just feel a natural letting go of any tension, physically, mentally, or emotionally. Inhaling, drawing in fresh oxygen and energy, slow and steady, complete breath. Exhaling and relaxing and letting go. Just count out 3 more on your own. Now release the breathing technique and perhaps notice a little bit more sense of ease and relaxation, physically, mentally, and emotionally, just from this short breathing technique. Just imagine if you reinforced this breath every single day, the transformation and the support it could provide you in your life. So opening up the eyes, if they're not already. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure introducing you to the breath and the power of using your breath in a conscious way. Again, my name is Heather Indu Arena, and you can reach me at heatherinduarena@gmail.com. And my website is healingelementsforyou.com. You can also visit me on my YouTube channel, where I have many breath as well as meditation exercises. And if you want, and you're not already joining me for one of my cleanse programs, we use the breath very extensively in these programs. So I'll support you through using the breath to transform your life. Again, thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.